I'm Sam, and today we're learning about the Pine Barrens. The Pine Barrens are cool, like really cool. Like, oh my god, there are carnivorous plants in New Jersey cool. But how did they get this interesting, and what exactly is a pine barren? A pine barren, according to the U.S. Geological Survey, is an ecoregion whose hydrology, soils, fire regimes, and vegetation combine to make it unique compared to its neighbors. The historic range of the Pine Barrens in the northeast U.S. is most of southern New Jersey, Long Island, and Cape Cod. Today, the Pine Barrens in New Jersey have been the most legally protected, so this is where we see the most preserved land. So this is where we'll focus. But how did this region form? Like all good stories, this one starts about 170 to 200 million years ago. This is when the Atlantic coastal plain began to form. 100 million years ago is when this region was repeatedly covered by the Atlantic Ocean and most of its geologic material was deposited. This is the origin of the very sandy, acidic soil we see in the Pine Barrens. This soil, in addition to the surface aquifers, causes a very dramatic differentiation between the upland and lowland regions of the Pine Barrens as the water flows through the poor soil towards the lower elevations. This distinction between the lowland and upland can then be seen in the flora we find there, as the low wet regions are where cedar swamps and marshes form, and the uplands is where the pine oak forests form. The surface water in the Pine Barrens is of a very low pH, an average around 4.4. This has had a major impact on the evolution of the flora and fauna of the region. Frequent fires are characteristic of the Pine Barrens due to the acidic soil leading to the accumulation of dry forest litter, as the acidic properties prevent decomposition by limiting the bacteria that can survive. Because dry upland regions are accustomed to frequent fire, humid suppression of this fire can lead to the succession of the majority pine upland forest into majority oak forest, who can outcompete the more fire-resistant pines. There are some very unique species to the New Jersey Pine Barrens, like the Pine Barrens tree frog and pitch pine, both of whom are adapted to the acidic water of the area. The pitch pine is also specially adapted to the frequent fires, their cones only opening under the extreme heat of a forest fire. There are even carnivorous plants like the pitcher plant, sundews, and bladderworts there. If we look into a brief human history of the area, we see that the Lenni Lenape tribe who resided here would burn the undergrowth to see better hunting and traveling opportunities. After European colonization, the Pine Barrens were exploited for bug iron, timber, and sand, but after the discovery of better quality and easier to obtain resources to the west, these industries were abandoned in the Pine Barrens until the discovery that acidic soils could support forming blueberries and cranberries. Today, the biggest threat to the Pine Barrens is increased development and fire suppression. All of my sources are linked in a document in the description. I hope you had fun learning about the Pine Barrens. Check out the organizations that I linked for the Pine Barrens in New Jersey, Long Island, and Cape Cod, as they are all the most diverse areas in their region and have many cool species and properties to learn further about. Bye!